Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about the difficulty of starting to play Dungeons & Dragons, and about honesty and transparency coming from Deborah Ann Woll. All right, so who is Deborah Ann Woll? Well, Deborah Ann Woll is Karen Page in the Daredevil live-action Disney Plus show, and she's a legit, full-on, real movie star. Not that CR stuff, not just a voice actor, right? Like a real movie star, like a real legit Hollywood movie actress, like full on, right? And it is incredible. It is really incredible who is actually attached to Dungeons and Dragons these days. It's pretty astonishing. But Deborah Ann Woll is actually a real Hollywood movie star, and in addition to that, and and actually, I'm gonna say, like, she looks like a Hollywood movie star, right? Like, it's a thing, right? And the only reason I say that is, like, what draws people to Dungeons and Dragons? Hollywood celebrities are a huge draw to, and it's not just for D&D. It's literally for our presidency. Like, we're like, hey, do you want Biden? That guy's been in the government forever. He does government stuff. People are like, I'll take that Hollywood guy. Donald Trump, didn't he have a television show? Yeah, that's fine. Right? Like, it's a big thing, right? Like, yeah. All right. Okay. So Deborah Ann Woll, okay? So she is spinning up Tales of Wood Creek, okay? It's her as the dungeon master. She is two things. She is a legit Hollywood movie star, okay? And then, in addition to that, she is an extremely passionate, skilled dungeon master. One of the best in the world. In fact, frankly, without exception, she is the best female dungeon master on the planet. Nobody's even close. Actually, Abria Iyengar is close, but Deborah Ann Woll is way ahead of her. So basically, she's literally the best female dungeon master in the world. Her love of Dungeons and Dragons is extremely real and extremely genuine. All right. So she comes to D&D and she's like, she's like, I would like to, and they're like, shut up, whatever you want to do, go. So they greenlit her project immediately, right? Like, I don't even think they didn't need the one sheet, right? Like, they were like, yeah, that's fine, right? Like, you're Deborah Ann Woll, right? Yeah, like, yeah, I am. They're like, that's fine, it's cleared, right? So Tales of Wood Creek is coming, okay? Now, who's her players? Interesting who her players are. The Dungeon Dudes, and they have a relationship with Hasbro from Dungeons of Drakkenheim, okay, which is a D&D canon setting now. Now, I will say, I don't really know why Deborah Ann Woll chose the Dungeon Dudes, and one of the reasons why is the Dungeon Dudes talk a lot of smack about Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like, for being a partner, they're not really. They're like, okay, the G7. France is technically America's ally, but man, do they talk a lot of smack about America. And you're like, are you guys really our ally? Right? And so the Dungeon Dudes are literally D&D canon authors, but man, do they talk a lot of smack about D&D. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, she chose these two dudes. They're part of her player group, and this thing's getting spun up, right? So D&D actually puts on their official channel Deborah Ann Woll. And Deborah Ann Woll comes in and says, hey, let me tell you like 7 reasons, and that I'm not exaggerating. It's like a long list of reasons why it's almost impossible to play Dungeons & Dragons, and why it has been almost impossible to play Dungeons & Dragons for at least 2 decades, if not forever, right? And I want to talk about her list. And her list is so long, I can't even talk about all of it in this video. I'm just going to talk about 3 things. Big material smart. All right, let's go. She starts. She's saying, hey, I'm spinning up Tales of Wood Creek, and one of the things I want to do with my D&D game is I want to remove the obstacles to playing D&D. Well, wait, Deborah Ann Woll, what do you mean obstacles to playing D&D? I've been assured by Hasbro. I've been assured by Abria Iyengar. I've been assured by Kate Welsh. I've been assured by everybody who gets asked, who's even remotely connected to D&D, that dungeon mastering is just the easiest thing in the world, and everyone can do it. right? What do you mean obstacles? If everyone can do it and it's so easy, what's this talk about obstacles, right? Like, and this is my point, right? So I'm here, like, and I get it. Dungeons and Dragons and Hasbro do not want to say that being a dungeon master is about the most difficult thing in the world. It is outrageously difficult. First of all, you are immediately publicly speaking. That is literally the public's number one fear, right? Like, literally, people are like, I would rather be in the grave than to speak at a funeral, right? Like, it's astonishing, right? But let's look at the first three obstacles that Deborah Ann Woll talked about for running Dungeons and Dragons. Too big. It's massive. Dungeons and Dragons is massive. If you just take the most basic entry, the 2024 core rulebooks, it's 1,150 pages of content. That's not a joke. That is real. And guess what? You're like, well, they don't really have to, look in the DMG. They don't really have to look in the, they just need the PHB. You're full of bunk. You are absolutely full of bunk. They absolutely need the Monsters Manual. They need the Monster Manual Guide, and they need, because it has horses and all the other things that they need in there. It is in the PHB, but, the fallbacks have an Oitug. They have a baby Oitug, right? You're not going to find that in the PHB, right? Dungeons & Dragons has established by canon that you can make monsters your pets, right? Which means that that a player needs the PHB, right? And this isn't like some this is some wild, outlandish idea. This is like literally in the most current D&D fantasy novel fallbacks, right? They also need the Dungeon Master Guide because it's got magic items, right? Like, you need all 150 pages. It is, when she says it's big, it is huge. It is absolutely huge, right? It's big. Next thing, she says it's too big, right? And she's saying these are things that keep people from playing Dungeons & Dragons. This is Deborah Ann Woll just speaking truth, right? Next, she says too much material. Yes, right? In 5th edition alone right now, we have Greyhawk, we have Eberron, we have Forgotten Realms, we have Planescape, we have Spelljammer, we have Ravenloft, like huge amounts of settings, multiple books per setting, huge, so much material, right? And get that. Honestly, any new player would be overwhelmed by just the printed material, and they're like, oh, no, the printed material isn't all there is. There's more material. There's additional material. Go look under D&D Partners content. That every single bit of that is D&D canon, right? So there's material on D&D Beyond. It's astonishing. It's absolutely... Oh, and by the way, Magic the Gathering. Wait, did you just say Magic the Gathering? There's like 50,000 cards in Magic the Gathering. Are you kidding? Yeah. So Magic the Gathering is completely, Magic the Gathering is canon to D&D, and D&D is canon to Magic the Gathering. You really don't understand Dungeons & Dragons until you understand Magic the Gathering. Isn't the rules to play Dungeons & Dragons like 400 pages long? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Welcome to D&D. Too much material. Yes, there is too much material. Yes, right? The next one. I'm not smart enough. Yeah, you're not wrong. You know how many people can read 1,150 pages of rules and are ready to play? Super, super ridiculously out. Actually, just geniuses. Honestly, I don't think there's anything but geniuses playing D&D today. Like, the people playing D&D are the most intelligent, charismatic, confident people on the planet, right? Matthew Mercer, Brendan Lee Mulligan, these guys are wicked smart, right? Abria Iyengar, Deborah Ann Woll, these guys are wicked smart, right? Stephen Colbert, Robin Williams, these are some of the greatest minds on the planet, right? It's like, I'm not smart enough. Yeah, that's a very legitimate concern, right? That you're not smart enough. And I will tell you right now, it is our greatest sin. It is the Dungeons & Dragons design team's greatest sin. It is every Dungeon Master's greatest sin. It is every Dungeons & Dragons player's greatest sin. We have artificially, arbitrarily built the game to be played by geniuses only. And we've kept it that way, right? It is abominable, the fact that we've done this. Deborah Ann Woll is absolutely 100% right. There are outrageous obstacles to playing Dungeons & Dragons. And that's not even her full list. I will continue her list in another video. Thanks for your patience. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.